Welcome back, guys. In this video, from that previous video, I was explaining all these notes. As you can see, I was based on these notes there, and I told you that you should know only these three laws. Do you see? Yeah. So now I will be doing these questions there. Imagine yourself, they need you to simplify this thing into a simplest form of a set there. Simplest set there. For you guys to simplify this thing, I told you that sets, guys, are the numbers which are not perfect square. All these numbers, they are not perfect square, this one. And when you press them, they will give you irrational there. They will give you irrational, meaning that they can't be in a form of a fraction. Do you see this thing? They can't be in a form of a fraction. Yeah. So this is how, guys, you simplify this thing. What you should do here, guys, what you should do there, you should try to introduce a perfect square there. For you to introduce a perfect square, we can say here 18 divided by 2. Do you see? So here we get 9 there. And that 9 there, guys, I told you 9 there, it's a what? It's a perfect square there. 9, you'll get 3 there. So it simply says that this thing, I can write it in a form of 9 times this there. Because I know that 2 and 9, when I multiply them, they should give me 18 there. Do you see? That's how I get that 9. I just divide by 2 there. So okay, now what I will do, guys, according to the rules there, I even show you that something which is in this form, I can break it down like this there. Do you see? Meaning that this thing, I can break it down, become 9 multiplied by square root of this. Do you see? Yeah. So because I know the square root of what? Because I know the square root of 9, I will say the square root of 9, obviously I will get 3 because I know that it's 3. So it means now my final answer of this thing will be 3 squared this there. And remember, if you want to confirm your answer, is it correct? You can even use a cheating method there. Say squared 18, it's equal to. Do you see? A cheating method, guys, it's when you are using your calculator there. Do you see? Yeah. So it means that that answer is that one. But a key thing there, you should show those steps there. Do you see? Yeah. Then what about for this one? Then for this one, then what you should do, you should try to introduce a perfect square by saying that, let's say 27 divided by 2, meaning that here we can't get a perfect square. Let's try 3 there. Meaning they will still get 9. Meaning, okay, 9 times 3, meaning that 9 times 3, that 9 times 3, guys, it is still the same as what? As 27 there. And that 9 there, it's a perfect square, meaning now I can write this thing in a form of like that there. According to this law, to the first law. That first law, it can be written like this there, whereby I can break this thing, become like that there. So that's how I break it, meaning now my final answer will be 3 to the 3 there. Do you see? Yeah. Then what about for this one? Then for this one, I should introduce a what? A perfect square. Let's say that 48 divided by 2, meaning there, I just got what? I get 24. And 24, guys, it's not even a perfect square, that one. It's not a perfect square. We don't have 24 here. Do you see? And now let's try 3. Meaning that we'll get 16 there. So it means that now here I can say 16 times by 3. And according to this law, meaning that I can break this thing in that form, meaning this time I can break this thing like this times that there. Meaning here I'll get 4 squared 3. That one, it's my final answer. To check my answer, is it correct? I can just use my cheating method using my calculator, meaning that is the answer that I got. Do you see? Then what about for this one there? Here I should introduce a perfect square. For me to introduce a perfect square, I'll start by dividing by 2 there. Divide by 2. Here I didn't get a perfect square. Do you see? Let's try to divide that by 3. Meaning also 3 doesn't give me a perfect square. Let's try to divide them by what? By 4. So here again now, you should be smart here. Because do you see that 4 that we use? That 4, guys, it's a perfect square there. That 4. So it simply means again now, I can say to you, it's 4 times 11. Because 4 times 11, they will still give me that 44. And this thing, I can break it in this form there. Whereby this thing, they will give me 2 and 11 there. Because there I can't take the square root of what? Of 11 there. Do you see? I can't take the square root of 11, so I'll put it the way it is 11, but the square root of 4 there, it's 2. Meaning now, when I want to check that answer, is it correct? I'll say 44, that is the answer that I got there. Do you see? Yeah. So be careful about those kind of questions, guys. So far, I think you are following, because this thing, it's not hard. This thing, it is straightforward there. Then what about for this one there? I will say 125 them, divide by 2. Here I don't get a perfect square. Let's try 3. I don't get a perfect square. Let's try 4. Still I don't get a perfect square. What about 5? Meaning that here I got a perfect square there. Because here is a perfect square. As you can see, my perfect square there, it's 25 there. So it means that now there I get, divide them. Meaning here I get what? I get 5. This thing I can write it in a form of saying 25 multiplied by 5. Do you see? And guys, it's better for you to start all the time, multiply a perfect square with a number, perfect square, perfect square, perfect square, perfect square. All the time, it's better for you to start with a perfect square there, which is my perfect square, it's 25 there. And this thing there, I can write it in a form of, whereby this thing there, it's 5, just like that there. That's a final answer. What about for this one then? Then for this one there, 153 divided by 2. I don't get a perfect square. 3. This thing, it's not a perfect square, by the way, because we don't have a what? 51 there. We don't have 51 here. What about 4? It's not a perfect square. 5. It's not a perfect square. 6. It's not a perfect square. 7. It's not a perfect square. 8. Even 8, this one, and this one again now, you should be smart about this one. Do you see the number that we just used there? That number there, it's a perfect square. And now it gives us 17, because here's that number, which is 9 there. Do you see? Meaning here I can just say to you, I can say 9 multiplied by what? By 17, because those two things, they will still give me that thing there. So meaning now this, I can write it in a form of 17, whereby this thing, it's 3 there over 17 there. Leave your answer like that there. Do you see? Yeah. Because there you cannot take the square root of what? Of 17. Do you see? But the square root of 9, it's 3. So it means now when you check your answer, you will say, this is the answer that you got there. Then what about these two questions? You can even stop the video here, try them to check your understanding so far. Are you following? Then let's try this number, divide by 2. It's not a perfect square. What about 3? Divide by 3. These, both of them, they are not perfect square, by the way. Let's try 4. They are not perfect square. 5. Then both of them here, they are not perfect squares. You can see that we don't have 45 here. What about 6? 6, not a perfect square. 7, not a perfect square. This, not a perfect square. This, not a... So here we got 9. Here we got 9 and what? And 25. And both of those two numbers, guys, they are perfect square, those numbers. Both of them, they are perfect square. This and that there. Do you see this thing? So it's simple say again now, this is what will happen here. I will just say to you, this thing there, it's 9 times 25 squared there, which is this thing there, it's 9 times by 25 Do you see? Whereby this thing there, it will give me what? It will give me 3 multiply. This thing there will give me what? This will give me 5. Meaning now the final answer there, it's 15 there. Do you see? Even this number, guys, it's a perfect square, that one. Here you can just do it, you'll get 15 there. Do you see? That is the one that I told you. So it's better for you guys to know all of these things then, so that you won't be struggling, try to find which one is a perfect square. What about this one is our last question, divide by 2. So here this thing is a perfect square. As you can see, it's there, meaning that I can say here perfect square multiplied by this, which is this can be written like this. Do you see? Then again, now I can say this thing will give me 6, 2. Do you see? So a key thing there, you should be able to break this thing which is here to become like that there. And also you should be able to find a perfect square, which all these numbers are what you call perfect square. So I hope, guys, you did understood this video. All the best in your studies. What you can do, you can try all of these questions that I will send you right now. All the best, guys. Thank you for your time.